Welcome to Following On for the final time, the fifth day, the 25th day of this series, and it received the epic conclusion that this incredible series deserved, with India inching their way to a 6-run win, and alongside Sid Monga and John Norman, just incredible. 35 runs needed in the morning. The first two balls, let's not forget, went for 4 to reduce the target to 27, at which point the indefatigable Mohammed Siraj struck. He ended up with 5 for 104. 17 still needed, and that was the moment where I thought this transcended sport, when Chris Wokes, with his dislocated shoulder in a sling under a sweater, started to walk down the stairs, and at that moment it became completely surreal. They scrambled a couple of runs, but in the end it was Siraj who struck Sid. He was the player of the match. He was everybody's player of the tournament. India won by 6 runs, and we were all breathless.
Yeah, it was a great finale to a great series, and can't be happier for Siraj. People don't give him enough credit for his skill. People just call him, it's almost a backhanded compliment when they call him a workhorse, which tends to suggest, hey, you are good to do all these dirty overs, but when we need wickets, we can go to the golden boys. But he has shown immense skill all through the series, and it's just good. It was just written for him that he's endured the moment at Lords when he middled the back foot defence and it rolled onto the wicket, and India lost so narrowly. Then he dropped Harry Brook yesterday, which resulted in England almost steamrolling India. And then in the evening, when the clouds came in, there was a bit of a shower which might have spiced up the pitch, which might have brought up some moisture. After that, India took control, and this morning, and then they lost their momentum again. There was heavy roller. India didn't even need the new ball. Can you imagine on the fifth day? There we were. Yesterday there was a point when we were saying, oh, can you imagine England have made the new ball a non-factor? India will not even get any advantage out of it. And then there was a time when India felt that bringing the new ball might actually hurt them. So, and Siraj was swinging the old ball. He was getting seam from the old ball. He bowled some of his fastest deliveries of the series. He bowled 146. The Yorker that got India the match, 143. It was just an insane effort. He was in his 186th over when he bowled that Yorker. It just on the physicality of it, on the skill of it, on the mental strength of it, on the emotional balance of it. I just feel so happy for Siraj. And for the Indian team, they might have had reasons to believe that they could have led the series at various points of time. But if they had gone 3-1 down, it would have been devastating. 2-2 they will live with. They will be really happy that maybe lack of experience might have cost them a series win, but it was not that devastating 3-1 defeat. Do you imagine how bad they would be feeling if it had been 3-1?
It would have been hard to explain, wouldn't it, John? Like, can you imagine if India had lost this series 3-1?
It wasn't far.
No, I mean, we got the right result. You've just summed up Mohammed Siraj beautifully, Sid, as you have summed up pretty much everything else in this series beautifully.
Which means I can walk off.
No.
No, not yet.
One man who won't be spoken about enough, I think, is Prasidh Krishna.
Yeah.
Because when India struggled, and they did struggle for large portions of this series, it was because they only had control of the game at one end.
Yeah.
And that changed yesterday with that spell by Prasidh Krishna, because suddenly India looked threatening with the ball at both ends. I just wonder, in and amongst all of this, the Indian journalists are something.
This is the broadcast crew.
That's the broadcast crew enjoying themselves on the pitch. Just give us a word on Krishna. This is a new India team. It's an India team that is now going to have to, over the next 2 years, build a team around 6 or 7 key individuals. Is Prasidh Krishna one of those?
I hope he is, because until yesterday he looked like he would be the next casualty of this transition. The thing is, he has all the ingredients of being a very threatening fast bowler. It's just that he's not been able to hit the good length very regularly, and that also is an issue where he's aware of it, but he does not want to just float the ball up. He needs someone to show him, to help him through the process where he can actually be hitting good length, and with his height he can afford to hit even slightly fuller than good length. He needs somebody to take him through the process of doing that while not losing the sting in the ball. while retaining that vertical speed, whether it's technical, whether it is something tactical, somebody needs to see him through that process, and once he starts hitting that good length with the regularity that Ishant Sharma used to, or with the regularity that Siraj does, he will be a handful. Because of his height, he will get seam movement when there is seam movement available. He has space, he has heart. He has gone for wickets when not many bowlers would have. He has bowled bounces when not many bowlers. Many would have said, "Hey, listen, it's attacking my individual figures. I'm going at 6 and over. Those records are going against my name. Why should I be the one doing it?" But he has not said that. He has stuck around. He has also faced the ignominy of a fast bowler coming from home, straight off the flight into the test while he was there. To come back from that, hats off to his emotional strength, mental strength, and the skill.
Let's talk about the batsmen then, and the other highlights. You know, Shubman Gill's most runs in a series for a captain, over 700. First time India have ever had 3 batsmen score more than 500 runs, and Yashasvi Jaiswal made 450 as well. So if there is a concern, is, you know, John's just talking about having a core of players to build a team around, and the concern is, brilliant, great that he is can Jasprit Bumrah be an occasional visitor to this team, or does he have to be in or out?
Firstly, batting. I had no doubt in my mind that India were a better team for the absence of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. It might sound rude, it might sound harsh, but that's how cricket goes. India's batting talent is vast. They come up playing a lot of cricket, a lot of games. There's no issue, and they also come up facing pressure situations. So batting had no issue. Bowling, yes, it remains an issue. They would love to have Bumrah whenever they can. So managing Bumrah's workload, managing Bumrah, do they just make him a test bowler and a World Cup bowler? No bilaterals in T20s or ODIs after this. Do they go that way? Who knows? But test bowling is not easy. Even that might not make him available for every test match. So they have to, in collusion with Bumrah, keeping his welfare in mind, keeping his body in mind, keeping India's needs in mind, they have to be very, very smart with what they do. But while that happens, in the background, they have to strive to be a team which can win test matches without Bumrah, as they have too on this tour.
Sid, you've got to leave us. Big thanks from me and Manners to you for your input throughout the series. It's been wonderful, and hopefully in 20 years' time we're still on this, in the game and on the planet. I think this is a series we'll all enjoy looking back on. But before you go, when the book is released for England versus India 2025, or the DVD for the kids out there, what is the image that is going to be on the front of the book?
Has to be Mohammed Siraj. Has to be.
On the boundary?
Yes. A poignant cover where he's turned around and there's one English fan in his face, clapping in his face. I don't know if he saw that, because at that time you don't know what's going on in your mind. But when he sees that, amazing.
There you go. There's a book cover. Sid, thank you so much.
It's been a ball. Thank you.
We'll be reading you for the next week, I think.
Yes. Thank you. And it's been a ball.
Been an absolute joy having Sid on the broadcast. John, I said that there were times when I felt that this 56 minutes of play that we had transcended sport, and it did become surreal, didn't it? When Woakes was at the crease, he didn't know whether he was going to bat right or left-handed. He'd never actually faced a ball, but he was obviously in great pain. Gus Atkinson hit the 6, and England began to believe again. But after 25 days of competition, 6 runs is what decided the series, and we had that figure in mind.
We just didn't read it right, did we? For viewers and listeners to the show, well, remember yesterday we both had this in mind that Chris Woakes was going to walk to the crease with 6 needed. Yeah. He didn't walk to the crease with 6 needed. He walked off the crease with 6 needed. I do believe in that stuff, by the way. You talk about transcended. I don't know about you, but in the period following a test series like this, I don't know if I was the only one, but I found myself walking around aimlessly, not knowing what to say, think, do. I felt like I had to be somewhere, and then realised I was walking into a room not needing to be there. Then I would walk out the room, back into the concourse here, and then I'd look at somebody, and then I'd realise I don't need to speak to them. We have been as focused, as hyper-focused as you could possibly be in anything for the last 6 weeks, and it's come to an end.
Can I just say that anybody watching or listening to this will have had that experience when you walk out of a room or a building and you have that fear that you've left something behind. And is it my keys? Is it my phone? Is it what have I left behind? Well, multiply that by about 10 and then you'll get the kind of restlessness that we all feel after 25 days of incredible Test cricket. You become emotionally invested in it, and you know, when Ben Stokes talks about having to have a lie down for 2 days, the physical and mental exertion of playing and being a captain, we can't obviously share that, but I saw you pacing about, wondering what to do with yourself. You do, don't you? You just sort of think, what now? What am I going to do?
I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do now. How do you fill the void? I remember when the Ashes finished here in 2005, and I was actually working at talkSPORT and sitting on the table looking up at the big screen. I was here for days 2 and 3, but not for day 4. And I remember just feeling this sense of overwhelming disappointment that it had come to an end. I don't feel that with this one. I think we've reached the right conclusion.
Because we don't have a winner or a loser.
And
that's
also,
right.
you can't get better than that. I don't think it's possible. I mean, look, maybe we'll be proved wrong this summer in Australia, but I don't think it's possible to get better than what we experienced here at the Oval late or throughout day 4 and the morning of day 5. I'm not making a comment about anything other than the here and the now. In this series, that is the perfect end. We could not have asked for anything more. And for those people who say, I wouldn't mind seeing Chris Woakes bat, there's a perversity about that. And I think a lot of people have felt it.
That's
because
car crash logic.
No, I tell you what changed my mind. Because I was equally, you wonder, right? You think to yourself, what would that look like? As human beings, that's completely justified and natural to wonder what it would have been like to see Chris Woakes have to bat with a dislocated shoulder after watching him complete that run where he could have been run out and Jarrell missed the stumps, and the exquisite pain that he had to go through to just run. As soon as I saw that, I realised that's not fair. And do you know what? It wouldn't have only been unfair to Chris Woakes. Think about the pain on his face when he completed that run. Now think of that pain on his face, and he is not one to put it on. Now can you imagine what it would have felt like for him to take a blow on the shoulder from a 90-mile-an-hour a short ball? Now that's what he would have been risking. That's the level of pain that can make a person black out. That's not fair. And what also isn't fair is to ask a bowler to do that. And that's where it changed for me. I don't want to see Chris Woakes bat with a dislocated shoulder. Having really thought about it and looked at it, I think the fact that we didn't have to see that, and the fact that India weren't asked to bowl that, I think that is exactly what should have happened, and I'm very, very pleased that we didn't have to commentate on that, but maybe I'm a lone voice.
You said exquisite pain rather than excruciating pain, but exquisite is exactly what it would have been had England won, and he would have been prepared to go through it. Ben Stokes spoke afterwards about batsmen batting with broken feet, broken bones in their feet, and Woakes with the dislocated shoulder and a couple of broken fingers. That's the pain that Stokes was talking about.
Times 10.
Yeah.
You see a man running with a broken finger, he doesn't look like Chris Woakes. Right? It is off the scale.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Chris Woakes' shoulder is so badly injured, they have to wait to fix it, essentially. They have to wait for the swelling to come down to really find out how bad it is. Look at Chris Woakes' face when he completes that run.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it. This isn't Malcolm Marshall. And I remember watching that live on TV. This isn't Malcolm Marshall with a broken hand. This is a dislocated shoulder and a 90-mile-an-hour bowler aiming a ball at it.
Normally we say don't try this at home, but if you are curious, try run as fast as you can on some grass with one arm held as tightly as possible as you can across your chest. Then you'll realise how much you need your arms for balance when you run. And it's no wonder that he was a bit dishevelled and he came out of his sling, and that's what caused the pain. That's what really, really caused the pain, because he's run as hard and quickly as he could. Anyway.
The producer, Scott, who we should make mention of, has done a wonderful job and somehow managed to squeeze in a golf major in between the third and fourth test matches. He's telling us to wrap things up. That's fine. You and Jaime are going to be doing a full-on show, properly, really going into the bones of this and getting Jaime's thoughts. We haven't had much of Jaime over the last few days. Can I just ask you this question, though, before we wrap up? We had Shiel Berry in the commentary box. He has become one of the first people ever to commentate or write or view 500 test matches. You're not that far behind, and one day we'll go past that, hopefully. Where does this stand? Where does this test match stand in the list of the greatest tests you've ever seen? And I do know what one of the other tests is. It's the JP Duminy test, isn't it? And then the AB de Villiers.
Well, there's three categories. There's the result, there's the quality of the cricket, and then there's the drama. And the only test match has come close to the drama of this was when Graham Smith walked out at number 11 with a broken hand to try and save that third test match. But South Africa had won that series. They were already 2-0 up. That was the third test. That was the greatest drama that I've experienced. And that I've seen test matches with a higher quality of cricket, but in terms of the drama and the result, it was 6 runs. Remember, this is now, out of the 380 odd, the most dramatic final hour I've ever experienced. There you go.
That answers the question.
That's it for following on from this series. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. There have been some attritional moments. There's been some hard cricket as well as, but this last hour on the 5th day has made it all worthwhile. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll do it all again soon.